Hello and welcome to Hamer Reviews. My name is Christopher Hamer and today I'd just like to talk briefly about why I've chosen to buy the Nikon Z6 II. I actually placed my pre-order as soon as the announcement came in, and the reason I've chosen to do so is that I've absolutely adored the Nikon Z6, but the Z6 II just addresses some issues, or rather wants, that I had with the Z6 that I didn't quite get because I partially misread the spec sheet and partially because Nikon just hadn't quite got to that point yet. Now, in terms of what I misread and what now is included that wasn't with the Z6 is IAF in video mode. Now, I use my Z6 for a combination of stills and video photography. In terms of stills, IAF is fantastic and I really enjoyed using it for portraits. But when it comes to video, it is something I thought was there that just isn't. The Z6 II fixes this and includes IAF in the actual video mode, and that's something I'm really excited about. And as a result, that alone is actually enough for me to justify the upgrade to the Z6 II. But there's other things I really love that solidified that reasoning for me. USB-C power is something I'm really excited about. Now, I do love the MBN10 battery grip. I think I might be the only person that does. But being able to power the camera from a USB-C power bank whilst the camera's switched on, I think is great. I think it was a bit of an omission with the Z6, and that's a feature I'm really excited about. In addition, they've reduced the blackout whilst taking stills photography, so that's the blackout between frames, and I think that's something that Z6 sort of isn't fantastic at, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Upping the frame rate by 2 to 14 frames per second as an absolute max is really exciting, and the reason it's exciting is in combination with the increased buffer, which is about 130 rather than 30 photographs. I think that when I'm taking nature photography, that's something that's really going to help, and it's something I'm quite excited about because, again, it's where the Z6 didn't really shine. The 12 frames per second were fantastic, but you'd fill that buffer up so quickly that you'd sometimes miss opportunities because of that slower buffer, so that's great too. There's other smaller enhancements that I'm not so fussed about. So 4K 60p I think is rubbish. The reason is, for some reason, they've included a crop on the Z6 and not on the Z7, which is the Z7 II, that is, which is flipped versus what you currently get. So at the moment, the Z6 doesn't really have much of a crop in video mode, but the Z7 does. And this will remain the case with the Z7 and Z6 II, except when you're shooting in 4K 60, at which point you get a crop factor on the Z6, so that's going to make it completely useless for me. One of those things, but an odd decision in my opinion. Other things that the Z6 II and Z7 II have is dual card slots. Now, I don't care, in all honesty. I've always been used to shooting with a single card slot. When I started out with the Nikon D1, which I shot a wedding with, or even a couple of weddings thinking about it, never encountered an issue, to be honest. XQD cards and CF Express cards are incredibly reliable. I haven't really seen any verifiable reports of them failing without sort of terrible user error. And I think if you treat your cameras and gear with respect, you're very, very unlikely to run into a memory card issue that results in you losing your photographs. Don't get me wrong. If your life is a fence and wedding photography, I get it. It's important to you, and that's great that Nikon have addressed it, and I'm happy that you're going to be able to use dual card slots. Just for me personally, it wasn't a factor. The new MBN11 battery grip is another interesting one as well. So I've pre-ordered it so I can review it. I don't think I'll keep it though. I'm actually more than happy with the MBN10 battery grip, and I think the MBN11 is overpriced at £360. It looks wrong because it seems to really extend past the sides of the camera, which is weird, and I don't like that as a result. And I just don't need the vertical shutter grip. I'm fine with holding my camera like this. Perhaps I'm in the minority, but it's never bothered me, even though I've always had the vertical grips with my D600, D800, D300, etc. Never was an issue, but I guess for some people it's a deal breaker, so Nikon's addressed it, which is great. There's other smaller tweaks. You've got the dual X-speed processors, which is supposedly going to give us better autofocus as well. That also sort of accounts for some of the other enhanced features, but I don't think, for me personally, they're an issue. My main reasoning, honestly, is the IAF tracking, USB-C power, and the increased frame rate and reduced blackout. Those are the core things for me, and I think the Z6 pricing is still quite good at the moment, so I should still be able to sell this for a relatively good price, especially as I bought it used initially, so I'm not really losing a huge amount. And the Z6 II is probably going to be a camera I hold on to for a while, because to be completely honest, the Z8, Z9 rumours look amazing, and I'd love one, but it's way outside of my price range. Like, that's going to be a £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 camera, and that's just not something I'm going to spend on one. So I think the Z6 II will hopefully be that camera that lasts for a while for me. And the video quality has been great. Hopefully you agree. I'm recording this on the Z50, but a lot of my other videos are recorded on the Z6. So yeah, overall, very pleased, and I'm hoping that the Z6 II doesn't disappoint me. Otherwise, I will be returning it and holding on to this. So yeah, there's just some reasoning as to why I'm choosing the Z6 II. Maybe you find that useful in your thought process, but equally it'd be interesting to hear what you think of it and whether you'll be staying away or choosing to purchase it as well. Thank you very much for watching. Pop any comments you have in the comment section below. Give this video a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really does help. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Goodbye.